allstarweb.com, you can pay like $80, and your press release will go over the Yahoo News, the Google News, and I think they also can get it onto Fortune.com and those places, and you start to get a lot of visibility, and it also creates links to your site, because there's a lot of sites out there, only thing they do is pull in these news feeds for and syndicate these news feeds, so you end up having all these links going back to your site, and people find your site, they start going to your site, and as long as you have a good message and offer that matches what's going on the consciousness of your marketplace, you'll get a lot of people to start to opt in. And then the only thing you have to do is have a selling process in place to be able to convert them to whatever it is you're looking to convert them to.
That's great. Let me switch. Give me 3 to 5 examples, Stephen, of really innovative ways offline companies have used internet, search engines. It can be customer service, it can be product extension, but give me 3 really specific, if you've got 3, that are just mind-blowingly stimulating to the possibilities that people in this room could embrace, okay?
Okay, I would say one of them, well, there's one entire industry the way they do it, and I'll talk about that second, but one company I believe it just does an amazing job, and that's Johnson & Johnson. They did when they were coming out with their Crest white strips for the teeth, they did a campaign, and it was interesting the way they did it. They advertised it, and they put the news out there in such a way on how you can just use these strips on your teeth for a short period of time, and it will whiten your teeth, and you don't have to go to the dentist and all this. So they were actually competing against dentists. And how people feel about going to the dentist, sitting in the chair, and getting people scrape for their teeth and all that. So it was kind of positioned against that, if I remember correctly. But the interesting thing was, before the Crest white strips hit the stores, and this is an offline product, a physical product that goes through all of these retail stores. Before it hit the stores, before a single retail store can count a single sale, they sold over $50 million in white strips from the internet.
That's a great example. Give me another one.
Well, one of them is the whole video game market. They're notorious for teasing and tantalizing and tempting you with their video games, the way they show all these different videos online. They always have downloadable versions, videos of the game long before the game comes out. And I think one of the most successful ones that were done was Halo 2 by Bungie. Now, of course, they already had Xbox out there, and Halo was a great success, but it's not always a successful product when they come up with a sequel. But Halo 2 historically is the best-selling video game ever, and that whole thing was predominantly driven by internet marketing campaigns. But yet the product is sold offline. They took online orders for the video game. It's not something you can download. It has to be delivered, and the video game is sold through like CompUSA's and Best Buys and all that kind of stuff. But they're using the internet to build the curiosity, build the anticipation, and drive people to start pre-ordering all these products before they even come out. It's just like with Xbox 360. People couldn't get it for months. They were selling the Xbox 360s on eBay for like $4,000, and the game is like $400 or $500. Because people wanted it that bad, because they built up such a huge amount of anticipation for it. And you can do the exact same thing for your product. The only limitations you have are your imagination. It doesn't matter that people have to walk into your store to buy stuff. You can allow people to buy it online, and you can ship it to them. Just like people that go to China. They go to China and buy all this stuff, and then they come back and they sell it all on eBay. They're selling it through a digital channel, but yet it's still a physical product that has to be shipped. That's the success of the eBay stores. These people have all these things they're finding to sell online, but yet they're shipped offline. And you can do the exact same thing.
That's great. I have 2 big questions that will have tributaries associated. The first one is, do you have enough time for us to pose some specific questions? And before you answer, the second is, whether you do or not, would you give us 10 or so websites that we would be wise to visit, to monitor, to see how they do it, that would be stimulating to our marketing creativity, to our logic, to the things that you think both the online and more specifically the offline people in this room would really benefit from? So the first thing, do you have time for some questions?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay, well, will you give us like 10 websites or 5 or whatever you'd recommend we start visiting regularly, and then Spike is going to monitor that, and I'll be right back.
Okay. It may come as no shock, but I think one of the best places you can visit to see how you can sell information products online is Amazon.com. And the reason why is because when you think about their volume and you think about what it is they've been capable of doing, I think it's amazing that they were able to come up right underneath the nose of Borders and Barnes & Noble and completely, for the most part, take over the market, because those two companies nowhere near do the numbers that Amazon does online. So to see how they sell their information products and how they group them together and how they look to upsell you and how they integrate the authors now into, like, if you buy a book from Amazon, from a like, let's just say Jay was a part of one of the Amazon programs where he's able to send a special message to all the people that buy his books from Amazon, and you went and borrowed a book from Jay on Amazon. Well, Jay can write a message, give some additional tips or what have you, and when you log in when you go visit Amazon and you log into your account so that you're automatically logged in whenever you purchase something, there's a message there from Jay. His picture is there, and there's a letter there. He's not just thanking you for the book, but he's giving you some additional marketing tips. So to see how they integrate all that and to see their follow-up process and how they get you to rate the product, rate your purchase, and how they recommend new products that are coming up based on your interests, I mean, it's pretty amazing, because they know, okay, if you're buying a bunch of books on strategy and they have some new books that are coming in on strategy, before they even get the books, you're getting an email that these books are coming in and you can pre-order it. Either they're being shipped or the author is writing it, and they let you know. So I think and take a look at how they sell their physical products, because Amazon isn't just selling books. And the reason they can do that is because if you know anything about driving force, Amazon's driving force is distribution method. So with Amazon, just like with QVC, anything they can sell via their distribution method, they're going to do it. That's why Amazon, although they started with books, they're on there selling all kinds of toys and videos and scooters and all this other kind of stuff, and that's because they can. It's just like with 3M. If I can share the story with you real quick. I mean, 3M they were having a meeting, and the board was in a serious debate, split right down the middle on what kind of company is 3M. Half the company was saying they're a masking tape company, while the other half was saying, no, we're a polymer chemistry company. And after this long debate, they walked out saying that 3M is a polymer chemistry company. Now, if you think about it, 3M is in multiple markets that are completely unrelated to each other. And they have over 70,000 different products. And the one thing that every single product has in common is polymer chemistry. Now, they can easily say, because they do videotapes, they can easily say, hey, we're doing videotapes and people watch videos on that. Let's just go into DVDs. I mean, people watch videos on DVDs. What do you think will happen to 3M if they did that? If they're not able to use polymer chemistry on it, it's just not going to work. It's just like Xerox trying to go into computers. That didn't work for them because that's not how their company is driven. So the point is, understanding how you're driven will give you a very powerful insight as to what it is you should be doing, not just online, but what you should be doing offline as well. What should be driving you as far as the selection of customers and clients, and what products or services you should be coming up with, what industry segments you should be pursuing, what geographical areas you should be getting into or expanding into or getting out of. So all that's important. So I say that because Amazon's driving force is clear. They're driven by their distribution method. But to see how eBay allows the community to drive the prices, to communicate with each other, and the ranking system and all that, I think that's a good place to take a look at. I would say take a look at how Priceline.com is run. I would say take a look at how eTrade.com is run. Now, these are a lot of large companies, and they're large companies for a reason. They're not large companies because one day they woke up to be a large company. They're large companies because they had really, really good business models, really, really good business models. And they're really clear on how the company is driven, and they pursue it with a high level of clarity on the business concept. So taking a look at how those companies are driven, how they interact with everybody, how they deliver their products and services. Amazon gives you a scope of physical products that are able to be sold online. eTrade is, services that are delivered online. eBay is community driven with physical products, and some of them are digital download products. Priceline is the facilitating of buying and selling of different prices for airlines. So I think that kind of gives you a really good spectrum of how these different things are different models on how to go about communicating with your marketplace and selling online.
All right, good deal, Stephen. We have about 5 people lined up here on stage that would like to ask you some questions, okay?
Only 5? Come on. Okay, go ahead.
We didn't know how much time you had, so we had mentioned that you were only going to be available for a little over an hour. So we'll start with the first one, and then I'll turn it back over to Jay.
Okay.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
I have two niche markets. My first niche market is I own a karate school, and so I'm trying to catch people there's 12 schools within 2 miles of me.
Hold on a second.
Two to 5 miles.
Barely make out what you're
Why
saying.
don't you use Spikes? See if Spikes is better. Let him repeat. And talk slow, too.
Good. I have a different model on how fast to speak. Good morning. Can you hear me better now?
I can see you. I can hear better now.
Okay. I have two niche markets. One is that I own a karate school, and I am trying to reach people within a 2 to 5 mile radius. And my second niche market is I have a product that I sell to only people who own concrete trucks, and it recycles the water. So that's the only people I'm trying to reach, is in a very small group around my karate school, or internationally, anyone who owns a concrete truck. Can you give me some suggestions of how to market those two areas?
Okay, so what's the benefit of the product for those that own concrete trucks?
He wants to know the benefit. Why would somebody owns concrete? He doesn't understand what you do.
Yeah, I have a recycling system that they can make millions of dollars if they use it and charge a fee to recycle the cement water so that it doesn't go into the ground or that it doesn't go into the streams. And there's a large fine tied to polluting the environment, and it's between $10,000 and $150,000 depending on what part of the country you're in. So this solves that problem, and they can actually benefit by charging their customer to recycle the water like oil and tires.
Okay, so let me ask you two questions. What is the worst thing that can happen to people that own concrete trucks if they go a long period of time without using what you sell?
I guess my question's a little different. How am I going to reach those two markets?
But I think he's trying to get you to...
Okay. The worst thing that could happen is that you're fined $25,000 every time the truck goes out the gate on 100 trucks or 1,000 trucks or 10,000 trucks if they fail to capture the water. So it's not that prevalent now, but that's the possibility in the future.
Okay. In the best case scenario, the best thing that happens is that they don't experience that when they get what you offer, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so I would go online and do keyword research because you can sell this anywhere in the world, right?
I can, but
Okay.
only to people with concrete trucks.
Right, correct. So I would go online and I would write down a collection of all the keywords that relate to what it is you're selling. And then I would go online to overture.inventory.com tool, or to the word tracker tool, or to the goodkeywords.com tool, and collect all the different keywords and see how many people are doing searches. Now, they may not be looking for that specific solution, but you can find out what people in the concrete business are looking for. Okay? Or the people that have the truck, and then put together a report, and I would create 2 landing pages and split test the best case scenario and the worst case scenario to find out if people are responding more to pain or to pleasure. And then have a really nice report on both that offers them solution ideas that lead to your product.
And Stephen, I'm going to ask a question. Is it also not appropriate for him to find websites that might be already serving the concrete industry and effect some kind of a strategic partnership or alliance with them?
Well, that's a good idea once he knows he has an offer that's going to move. Because one of the worst things he can do is go partner with somebody and they make him aware of it and it flops, because he'll probably never get another shot at it.
He's absolutely right. That's very, very astute. Thank you. Okay. All right. Next. Here. Okay. All right.
Good morning, Stephen. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us.
Well, you're welcome, and I appreciate your appreciation.
Oh, we appreciate it very much. Can you give a case study of how a service industry...
I can barely hear you. Can I do what again?
Yeah, get it really close.
Okay. Can you give us a case study of how a service industry such as financial advisors use the web to spread their name or penetrate a new market and generate leads?
He's got a financial advisory service. He wants to know if you could give him 1 or 2 examples, if you know them, of how financial advisory services have used the internet to spread their worth and their reputation and attract clients.
Oh, yeah, sure. One thing that's an open door for you is that there's a lot of people out there that sell financial ebooks. They sell financial home study courses. and that's about as big as some of the back ends go. Very few will have actual $5,000 and $10,000 financial seminars that they'll sell people into. So if you approach websites that sell these investment ebooks and financial ebooks, and you say, listen, I'll give you an added bonus. I'll put together a report that's an added bonus that you can add to your website, which means it's a bonus they wouldn't get otherwise, written from your area of expertise that will give them value added with their purchase. And inside of this report is going to be a PDF. It's going to be coded with their affiliate ID. And for each person that reads that report and comes to your website for any kind of services, whether it's consulting or it's seminars or it's products that you have, they get paid off of it. You add a profit center to them. So what you do is you contact you put together a nice report so they can take a look at it and see the value that you'll be able to provide. And you add a new profit center to them. And everybody, and being in the financial industry, every single one of us are constantly looking for very different, unique, value-added products and services that we can add on, especially if it's free. Because I'll give you an example of what we did. When we launched our Fibonacci Secrets product that went off and did over $1 million by itself, one of the things we did is we went to a company that offered a financial advisory service at like $300 a month. And what we did is we made an arrangement that for everybody that purchases our product, they get like 45 days free of the service when everybody else through their normal service was getting like 15 days. So they saw that with us, they were getting an extra 30 days of this really good advisory service with no obligation to buy. So what happened was we started sending all these people through the service as a result of buying our product, and they started sending us very, very nice checks, and it helped them to grow their business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also, Stephen, one of the things that you also said was, and I didn't get into it, we had somebody who was going to talk, and he may still, we got to figure out, on the relevancy of having your own book or report or manual, and why as a lead generator, as a credibility device, as a bonus, as a self-liquidating profit center, it's very key as the first stage of a prospect generation process. You might talk about that a minute.
Yeah, well, the thing is, your content is the only means you have right now, because there's so much stuff out there. The content you put out there is the thing that you can use as a very powerful differentiator. You give them stuff that's insightful, that's motivating, that's differentiated, that's actionable, that really drives them to, whether they take the action or not. If they can at least know that, man, if I do this, they're going to get a result, then you're completely differentiating yourself. Maybe you have a different perspective. Maybe you have a different flair and a different way of saying it. It's a representation of who you are. And people can get a sense of who you are, at least to the point where it's like, you know what, I want to know a little bit more about you. Because I understand that, this is a show that comes on television called Eliminate. Many of you in there probably won't want to admit that you know about it or that you've seen it, but there's a show called Eliminate, and a guy dates 4 girls or a girl dates 4 guys, and there's rounds. And after each round, they eliminate one person until it's just them and one other person standing. And that's what happens in business. Every single one of you in that room, you're being deleted and eliminated by your clients and customers and your prospects because of your lack of relevancy. The thing one of the worst things you can do is compete against people's priorities. So, in putting together your reports, especially if you have access to clients, and I suppose many of you do because you have existing businesses, go to them and ask them, what are your 2 to 3 top priorities? And then based on that, what are you ultimately looking to get done? And then based on that, you can start asking them, well, when you get that, what's going to be the impact of that? And then start to collect the details that you need to put together a report. It doesn't have to be a big report. It could be a 5-page report, or it could be a 25-page white paper, or it could be a 50-page ebook that provides them with 3 steps, 7 steps, or what have you, and give this thing away in boatloads. Give it away so that they can give it away, so that other people can give it away, and make it so that they want to share it with other people. So you have this multiplication effect. One of the worst things that can happen is that you provide content to people that they only want to give to one other person. And let me tell you how powerful content should be. And this is a real-world example. We've been giving away our free daily trade since 1997. It was in late 1998 that I actually started emailing them to people. So it's 2006. I'll let you know how long we've been doing it. But here's the thing. And I want to tell you 2 things about content. This is the first one. Your free content should be so powerful that if they don't get it,